Today, we're gonna do a review of the Osprey Daylite Plus backpack. In this video, I'm gonna take my experience of reviewing 500 of the world's best bags, and we're gonna tear this thing apart. I'm gonna give you my experience of using it the past few days. We're gonna talk about the honest pros and the cons, and if you're not quite sold if this is the bag for you, you're gonna wanna stick around to the end, because I'm gonna make some alternative recommendations for bags that are close, but have some key differences, so you can find the bag that best suits your needs. Let's talk about the gist of the Osprey Daylite Plus. And we've got a lot of experience reviewing Osprey bags here at Nomads Nation, because if you don't know, Osprey, huge. One of the biggest bag brand companies on the planet. And they're really known for hiking gear, but over the years, they've also transitioned more and more into travel and now urban gear. And while the Daylite Plus is a bit more on the hiker lifestyle side of things, and I'm not into the hiker lifestyle side of things, we're gonna be looking at this bag primarily through the lens of travel and everyday carry. Because we've gotten a lot of reviews to request this bag, and for good reason, like it can be a great travel companion. Here's why. I'm gonna run you through some of the top features. We've got a super lightweight build, a quick access pocket here, an adjustable stash kangaroo pocket in the front, an admin compartment with a bit of organization, half moon access into the main compartment, and challenging to remove hip belt. And one of the coolest features of all is the comfort and really the ventilation of this bag, especially when it comes to Osprey's Airscape ventilated back panel and how they mimic that on the shoulder straps. And believe me, this came very, very in handy on these hot, sweaty Hong Kong summer days. I'll talk about that in a bit more detail 3 chapters from now. As of recording, the Daylite Plus comes in 14 color options. Now, for the size, it is advertised at 20 liters capacity. 20 liters is a great size for everyday carry, usually big enough to carry all your stuff without making the bag too big. Let's double check that capacity first. All right, got the main compartment pretty packed out. We've got some space in the admin compartment. Let's give that a go as well. All right, Tag, give us a hold for me. Use those muscles. Teamwork makes the dream work here at Nomads Nation. That's a fully packed bag right there. Now, before we actually check the volume, notice the shape of the bag when it's fully packed out. It's that old school hiker aesthetic, but it gives it a really streamlined look and feel. That's where you can see you got the bottom of the bag and this sort of hourglass shape on the sides. Let's just check the dimensions too. We've got a height of around 18 inches, just under 11 inches width, and a fully packed out base depth of just under 8 inches. Now we fully packed out the front compartment and the main compartment. So elevating this on up, you can see we're at 5, 10, 15, just under 20 liters, which I think is fair because bag volume's an art. And we also didn't include this front pocket here and the 2 water bottle pockets. So all in all, I'd say it's 20 liters, but it's a tight 20 liters. Osprey claims this bag weighs 1.29 pounds. I'm getting 1.3 pounds on scale number 1. And again, 1.3 pounds on scale number 2, which for a 20-liter bag is a really nice liters to weight ratio. This is the Daylite Plus when it's empty, and this is the Daylite Plus when it's fully packed out and worn on me. For reference, I'm 5'8". And don't worry, I'm gonna pack out the bag throughout the entire review so you can see exactly what it fits. All Osprey bags are backed by one of the best lifetime warranties in the game. Not even just like in the bag game, but like in the product game. Their warranty is incredible. And for all that, the Daylite Plus runs around 75 USD. And real fast, if at any point during this review you're thinking about making a purchase or you want to find out more information, we highly suggest doing so using the first link in the description below. Reason being, that link makes sure that you get the best price, and we oftentimes have discount codes. But that link also helps support the Nomads Nation YouTube channel and team, so we can keep making the best bag reviews on the web. Thank you very much. Okay, let's talk about the front of the Osprey Daylite Plus. First thing is the aesthetic, but we kind of covered that really. It's not your typical modern, techie, urban EDC travel bag. It's old school, it's hiker. But I think Osprey has done a really nice job of modernizing their bags over the years, as to where the fabrics and the branding don't just kind of scream like lame hiker culture. It's just a little bit more modernized. And Osprey has done a really good job, in my opinion, of just cleaning up their aesthetic over the years. And that's on both their urban and their outdoor lines. This fabric is a Blue Sign approved 300D recycled polyester. Polyester is great because it naturally repels water and it's a very light fabric. It's not quite as abrasion resistant as a nylon would be, but still quite abrasion resistant in itself. And 300D is a really lightweight denier, and that choice of fabric is one of the biggest reasons why this bag is so lightweight. But now let's get into the actual pockets of this bag, because I think that's actually what makes it interesting as a potential travel companion. Not all hiking hiking bags have this level of organization. And for me, when you're traveling, you want a few extra pockets just to organize your nicks and your knacks, which is why these two pockets became very useful. Let's start with this front one here. First of all, Osprey, are you using YKK? Absolutely. The cost to value ratio that Osprey brings to the table is really hard to match. I mean, 75 USD for these fabrics, this material, and that lifetime warranty. Granted, it is important to keep a note that Osprey is owned by like a conglomerate, billion-dollar company at this point that also owns like Vicks Vapor Rub and a bunch of other brands, so they can afford that scale. But if you're looking for a bang for your buck, it's really hard to beat Osprey. Front pocket is basic, no additional organization, just runs this entire panel right here. And then the admin compartment has 1, 2 lining pockets, an attached key leash, and a bit of depth underneath.
Do you like the way those pockets are not stretchy fabric?
That's a good question, Tab. I think that, on a lot of modern urban bags, you'll see that these pockets will be made out with some sort of stretchy mesh. Power mesh, Darlington mesh, you name it, as long as it's got some elasticity to it, right? That then gives the pockets a bit more ability to expand. But also, those fabrics are just a bit more expensive. Power mesh ain't cheap. Osprey is not cutting too many corners here, but his lining isn't the most expensive. And one thing that some people don't like about mesh is that it can get a little loose over time. So if you are really decking it out, that elasticity will die over time. Let me know what you think though. Do you prefer your pockets on your backpacks to have some expansion via some mesh? Or do you prefer pockets like this that don't use mesh, they can retain a longer lifespan? Let me know what you think in the comments below. These pockets are just good for quick access stuff, tissues, headphones, throw some gum in there. And the admin compartment, good spot for your wallet. I throw some pens at the bottom. Sunnies, keys would go here as well. And what I love about this pocket is it was the perfect size for my Sony XM-H5 over-the-ear headphones, which you can see fit perfectly in there. And you can see what I'm kind of building out is like the day pack when I get to my destination. Probably not big enough for most people to travel with, like an actual weekend trip by itself, right? But if you put this in your suitcase, and this is your EDC when you're in a new city, especially if you're the outdoorsy type, right? So you can do some coffee shop work and then go hiking, possibly in the same day, right? That's what this bag helps accommodate. And one big thing that helps to accommodate that even more is this like kangaroo pouch right here. Now keep in mind, we didn't talk about the volume of this pouch as to where we filled it out with 20 liters. Let's give a little test run to see what it can fit. So I was hoping that I'd get my size 9 Nikes in there, but as you can see, that's gonna be a no-go, as the max width of this pouch is around 6 inches. Sandals, you got a good shot, but bulky Air Force Ones ain't gonna happen. But I do think it's a good spot for a sweater. I got my Unbound Merino hoodie here, which does pack down pretty well. And you can see we're definitely getting that in there in a way that works. Overall, a pocket like this, it's not gonna be very weather resistant and not the most theft resistant either. But if you're just looking for a bit of space to carry things on the outside of your bag, like a travel hoodie, towel, beach accessories, snacks, it's a great pocket to have. Moving on, let's talk about the middle of the Osprey Daylite Plus backpack. Dual external water bottle holders, and these do utilize a silky, stretchy power mesh, which is a bit more of a necessity with a water bottle holder, as it needs to fit different size water bottles. We'll test that out though in just a second when the bag is fully packed out. Now here's one point that I want to quickly riff on that's a little bit annoying about this bag, which is access. Front pocket here, piece of cake. But due to this kangaroo pouch and all the straps that we got going on here, you're getting constant interference with zippers. Not in a way that's the end of the world, but something you just want to be aware of when it comes to the user experience. You're trying to open things and close things. This compression system for the kangaroo pouch can get in the way. Now the good news is that it is unclippable, but there's not really a lot that you can do with it. You can, I guess, totally do one of these, but they're not staying in that pocket, so they're just gonna be kind of flapping all over the place. So if you do want that smooth access to the main compartment, these gotta be unclipped. Speaking of which, let's get in there. Love Osprey's zipper pullers. These are super functional. They don't look the sexiest, but they're the only zipper pullers that you can do this with a backpack. And this comes in handy, especially when you're unzipping and you think you're gonna drop the bag, you can actually single-handedly hold the bag by the zip. In the main compartment, there's no additional organization minus this sleeve right here, which can be used for your laptop. Now I say can because it's definitely more designed for a hydration bladder, as where you can see you got the slot, you got the clip for the bladder, and the bladder hose sneaks out of here, therefore keeping you hydrated on the go. But I popped my laptop in here the past few days. I have a 14-inch MacBook Pro, but as you can see with this cutout, this is a 16-inch MacBook Pro 3D print, and we are indeed fitting. Now, note though, this is more of a hiker bag, so the laptop protection isn't the finest in all the land. a bit of padding here and a bit of padding on the back, but keep in mind it is a lighter weight bag. So the back panel is not as heavily padded as like a typical urban travel bag would be. But on a good note, the false bottom is pretty good as to where the laptop is basically ending right here, giving you a little bit of space as to where if you drop your backpack, your laptop is less likely to get damaged. So in the spirit of this potentially being a great day pack for a day trip when you're traveling, got a bunch of day pack stuff here. Tech pouch, throw that at the bottom. Second tech pouch at the bottom, great if you're traveling as a couple, maybe like you and the wife, you and the husband. Throw a little tripod on top. Now it should be noted, like as we're packing this bag out, this is not an organizer's backpack. There's literally no pockets in here, so you're just kind of throwing things in. And we could definitely squeeze a hoodie in there as well, but I want to test the hoodie packed in the kangaroo pouch with the water bottle holders. Let's get an idea of the bag as a whole. Ooh, these are really nice water bottle holders. We got a couple cool things going on with them as to where it's not all power mesh. You can see the power mesh is just this section right here, but we're also utilizing the polyester. For a base depth of, wow, like 7 inches. These are gonna fit some beefy water bottles. 24-ounce Columbia water bottle, sliding in there, plenty of room to spare. 1 liter Yeti. On the other side, also fitting. Not perfectly, but here's something cool. As to where these compression straps for the kangaroo pouch can be unclipped and utilized to further secure your water bottle. As to where if we did the upside down test before, that bottle would have fallen out, but now, like a glove. These pockets can be great for umbrellas as well. And now that the bag's fully packed out, let's test out the Roo pouch. I don't know if it's gonna fit. I think we're gonna get it in there. Yeah, like cinch it on down. And like, I'm not saying you're styling, but you're ready for anything. You got your agua, you got your umbrella, you got your hoodie, even a little bit extra room in the main compartment if you wanna grab a souvenir. So it's definitely a bag that offers a lot of versatility. Last note in the middle, remember we talked earlier about the bottom of the bag having a bit of an angle cut? That means it's gonna have a really nice aerodynamic feel, but it's gonna be a terrible self-stander. Physically impossible to self-stand, which, you know, no fault to this bag. It's extremely common with more outdoorsy and hiking bags, but less so with more of the modern urban bags. And I gotta let you know, if you're really enjoying this deep dive, you might be smitten to find out that here at Nomads Nation, we don't just do reviews on our YouTube channel, but we also have the Nomads Nation newsletter. And in that newsletter, you could look at me like your reporter in the field, where I'm keeping you up to date on everything that's happening in this incredible industry. I'm talking the newest releases, limited edition drops, plus you get access to our community discount codes and exclusive giveaways. So if you want to keep your finger on the pulse of what's happening in this incredible community, be sure to look for this globe emoji in the description below. I hope to see you in your inbox. Okay, let's talk about the back of the Osprey Daylite Plus backpack. Starting with the top handle, I've never quite seen a top handle design like this, as to where just the way that it's integrated with the shoulder straps. It's a small thing, but it works. They didn't have to put a handle up here. They just built it into the shoulder straps. And this is one of those things, I'm gonna do a 45-second rant. I actually have a little bit of an obsession with Osprey. I'm not even like an outdoorsy hiker type of guy. They're just probably the best bag brand in the world. Like just when you measure everything, experience, innovation, price, what they do in their HQ in Vietnam, like they're legendary for a reason. So much so, Osprey, that if you're ever looking for someone to work with you, just let me know, okay? Because your urban line, it's close, but it needs a bit of work. I'd love to help. Let's talk. I'm gonna keep the positive vibes going because I really loved basically everything that was happening on this back panel, minus like one big thing. Let's talk about the good stuff, ventilation. I mean, you see all these cuts. I mean, I'm talking about the innovation of Osprey, their airscape system. It varies from bag to bag. I don't think it's the same exact system of the scaping of the air, but at the end of the day, they do stuff like this where you can just feel the breeze. Like, can you feel the breeze hitting you right now as you're watching this? Wearing this bag the past few days in Hong Kong where it's like 98 degrees with 120% humidity, like this back panel was an absolute joy. Should be noted though, some people like our media manager, Margaret, don't love back panels like this because you could see it's sort of like a washboard. And that is a little bit harsher of a feel to some people's backs. Doesn't bother me, but our media manager, Margaret, hates it. So it's definitely something to be aware of. Now, that ventilation also extends to the shoulder straps. You can see right here and all throughout the bag. But one thing to keep in mind is that these shoulder straps, like day pack thin. Like, and by day pack, I mean like those like bags that can literally like fold into a ball and you put in your suitcase when you get to your destination, you use it for the day as your pack, hence day pack. That's how thin these shoulder straps are. And you can see the measurement right there. We're coming in at less than 1/4 of a centimeter. Now, that's not a problem for a lot of people because it's cutting down the weight in the bag. And that's ensuring just that ventilation, dude. Like if these are like really thick, like just less likely that the air would flow through. But on the flip side, when you're carrying heavier load, a lot more gear, you might miss that padding. That's just one of those big trade-offs where it's like, what do you want? Lighter, breezier, or more cushiony and more padded? You know, added a bit more chunk to the shoulder straps? Or are you cool with them as they're designed? Let me know what you think about the shoulder straps in the comments below. Final note, there is an included hip belt, which is just a little bit of nylon webbing coming in at just under 1 inch. This is definitely not gonna be as comfortable as like a really nice, cozy, padded hip belt. But at the end of the day, it does help, you know, redistribute the weight. If you're just got a long day at your destination, back's killing you, you pop this bad boy into place and it will save the back a bit.
Is it gonna go around your belt or is it gonna be a belly buckle?
Great question, Tav. Let me show you right now. Belly button here, you can see, bit of a belly button, waist belt, combo, belly button, buckle. So because it's a smaller bag at 20 liters, it's shorter, right? It's not a super tall bag, so it doesn't need to be as big. So because of that, the hip belt is then riding higher. But amidst all this comfort and all this ventilation, there's something about this bag that absolutely drives me batty, as my father would say. That's what this little guy is here to protest. It's all this MFing dangle right here. We got 1, 2, 3, 4, 5. And again, Osprey, when you hire me as your urban design director, I'm gonna tell y'all that you gotta stop this, okay? You can afford little web holders that transform this annoying tentacly experience into something a lot more streamlined and tidy. Like, oh my God, how much better is that? It's probably my least favorite part of this bag and every Osprey bag that I've ever used, which has been a lot at this point. Overall with the comfort, you know, take it with a grain of salt. It's gonna depend on how packed out the bag is. I give it like a 3.7 out of 5 because if it was really, really packed out, the lack of padding in the shoulder straps would be noticeable over time and potentially painfully uncomfortable. But more or less, if you're packing this thing a little bit on the lighter side, you should be good to go. But comfort varies from person to person. So if you want anybody else's perspective on this bag's comfort or experiences in general, or you just have any questions, the best spot to ask that is in the comments below or in the Nomadization subreddit. We got one of the biggest and most active bag nerd communities on the web. So if you got any questions, those are the 2 places to ask. All right, let's wrap this review up by talking about the overall pros and the cons of the Osprey Daylite Plus backpack. Pro number 1, really impressive value. Osprey just always gives you bang for your buck. Pro number 2 is going to be the lightweight build. But pro number 3, pretty easy, everything that's happening with the ventilation in the back panel and the shoulder straps. This thing breathes. But on the flip side, every bag has cons. This included. Con number 1 is gonna be access issues due to the kangaroo compression straps. Con number 2 is the lack of padding on the shoulder straps. Might be a deal breaker for some people. And con number 3, this bag is a dangle nightmare. Now, if you're still watching this, there's a chance that the pros might be outweighing the cons for you. And you're thinking about picking one of these up? Well, if so, just a reminder, we recommend doing so with the first link in the description. Just because that makes sure you get the best price. And if we have any discount codes, that's what they'll be. But if you're not quite sold, I did tease some alternative recommendations earlier. Let's talk about them. First up, if you're new to the channel, I highly suggest watching the Nomads Nation leaderboard rankings. This is where myself and the Nomads Nation team, Tab, Margaret, Marissa, we all get together and pick our favorite bags in distinct bag categories. This is a great video to watch if you just want to get an idea of what the best options are on the market. But if we're pretty close with this bag, let's talk about some specific alternatives that might better suit your needs. Alternative recommendation number 1 is going to be the Osprey Arcane 10 liter. This is a great pick for you if you came here looking for a good travel bag, something small, but you're like, you know what? I don't know if I need all the hikerness. I just wanted something a little bit more urban, but you like Osprey. If that's the case, that's what the Arcane does best. And it's one of my favorite small backpacks that I've ever tested. Alternative recommendation number 2 is going to be the Able Carry Daybreaker. Good pick for you if you do want a bit of a hiker bag, something that can do urban and outdoors, but you want better materials. Osprey gives you a lot of bang for your buck, but Able Carry is giving you X-Pack, PU-coated zippers. It's just kind of like an elevated Daylite with a little bit less features and versatility, but honestly, it's a killer bag. Honestly, all 3 of them are killer bags, and they all have their unique set of pros and cons. But if you want to learn more about the alternatives, just go ahead and watch one of these videos right here. I'm gonna leave them on a screen for a second so you can decide which one interests you more. In the meantime, again, if you got any questions, just let me know in the comments below or in the Nomads Nation subreddit. Thank you so much for watching. My name is Aaron. This is Nomads Nation. we'll catch you next time.